Predators in every diocese weaponized the Catholic faith and used it as a tool of their abuse.
Allegations of widespread sex abuse and cover-up within the Catholic Church. Straight ahead on News Center, we break down the bombshell grand jury report and hear how local church leaders are reacting. And shocking allegations about a recently closed Center County charter school. Hear from parents there and what they have to say. Plus, a small bug is a hot topic at Penn State's Ag Progress Days. How it could be a big problem for the farming industry.
WATM News Center, centered on you.
Welcome to WATM News Center. I'm Justin Betti. The fallout continues from a nearly 900-page report by a Pennsylvania investigative grand jury detailing alleged sex abuse involving hundreds of Catholic priests and clergymen and roughly 1,000 child victims. Jurors said those numbers come from church records. They believe the actual number could be at least double that. Now, these reports date back 70 years. Over 300 predator priests named in it. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro discussing the details of the report Tuesday, saying perhaps even more stunning than the alleged abuses is the alleged widespread cover-ups.
The grand jurors wrote, all of the victims were brushed aside in every part of the state by church leaders who preferred to protect the abusers and their institutions above all. Priests were raping little boys and girls, and the men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all for decades.
Of course, not every detail of this report has still been made public. Many names and details, in some cases, whole paragraphs or pages were redacted. Over the past few months, the Attorney General's office has argued today's report should be released in its entirety. Tuesday, AG Shapiro said his team is not satisfied with the current version and will meet with the state Supreme Court in September in hopes of releasing even more information.
That we will fight vigorously to remove every redaction and tell every story of abuse and expose every cover-up. While those redactions represent just a very small fraction of the predator priests named by this grand jury, no story of abuse is any less important than another.
Since the release of this report, survivors are coming forward to applaud the release of these terrible revelations. The Survivors Network for those abused by priests is commending the brave men and women who shared their heartbreaking stories. They also applaud Shapiro for making sure that these allegations were made public. SNAP is now begging any other survivors who may not have been named to come forward and report their stories to law enforcement. Bishop Lawrence Persko of the Catholic Diocese of Erie held a press conference Tuesday afternoon in Erie, saying he admires the courage of survivors who came forward and offered an apology on behalf of the Catholic Church for what they've endured. He also made a pledge of the changes the diocese will make moving forward.
The Diocese of Erie will not shroud abusers in secrecy, no matter who they are or how long ago the abuse has occurred. We acknowledge the abuses of the past and are committed to being transparent with our decisions going forward.
During this investigation, the grand jury made several recommendations for things they would like to see become state law to help fight abuse. Those recommendations include eliminating the criminal statute of limitations for sexually abused children. Current law permits victims to come forward only until age 50. The grand jury recommends eliminating that statute entirely for these types of crimes. Also creating a civil window so older victims could sue for damages. Clarifying penalties for a continuing failure to report child abuse, and specifying that civil confidentiality agreements do not cover communications with law enforcement.
Over the last couple of days, we have been plagued by this large area of low pressure Anchored across New York State, it has been throwing precipitation back into central and western Pennsylvania. Now the emphasis beginning to shift further eastward. The skies are clearing locally, and we are winding down the rainfall threat for tonight, although we are still seeing far southern Pennsylvania picking up some leftover showers, and they were quite intense as they made their way from Myersdale southward into northern Maryland, where some flash flooding concern was ongoing a couple of hours ago. But anyway, at this point here, it looks like a lot of that is pushing down south of I-68, clearing much of Pennsylvania. The skies are clearing from Somerset and Bedford onto the north, and so that means we've got sunshine coming up for tomorrow in our ABC 23 forecast, and a warmer day with highs climbing into low and mid 80s.
In Center County, a new report details alleged health code and ethics violations against a former charter school which just closed its doors last month. Our Alexis Wainwright has been following the story for us. She joins us now live with more. Alexis.
Yeah, with just 3 weeks left until schools are back into session, parents of former students of the Wonderland Charter School are now looking for new classrooms. The school was open for nearly 20 years, but now State College Area School District officials are saying the charter school was having some problems.
You know, now we're just scrambling around. I think most of the parents are just scrambling around looking for what the next places for their kids.
Many parents were caught off guard when the Wonderland Charter School in State College closed its doors.
It wasn't what we expected. Sharing what our administrative team and our solicitor believed to be significant concerns.
The closing didn't stop State College Area School District Solicitor Scott Etter from releasing his findings of discrimination at the school against students in special education.
Wonderland was not complying in many material respects with what it was required to do in special education.
He says the charter school was held to the same standard as any other Pennsylvania public school. But according to the report, the school failed to identify students in any other disability category for at least 3 years.
What we found is that Wonderland was over-identifying as much as by 1,000% more than you would expect.
We've reached out to the owners of the school, but they refused to comment and hung up the phone. One parent who has 2 children enrolled at the school says she saw none of these accusations.
As far as I'm concerned, 100% Wonderland was doing the best things for my kids.
And says her kids will miss going to school there.
It was heartbreaking. My kids cried. There's a lot of sadness. My son, tears in his eyes, looked at me and said, "Why would they close our charter school?"
Now, the report isn't final. Officials say they expect to have more information available on August 26th. State College schools are expected to be back in session on August 27th. Reporting live in State College, Alexis Wainwright, ABC 23.
We have a correction to a story we told you about first on Monday. The State College Area School District Board of Directors has approved new turf for a new practice field on the north side of campus near State High. Their communications director says, though, however, contrary to what they previously released, the board approved an EcoSense EPDM infill, which is actually slightly more expensive than the crumb rubber field first reported they had also considered. They say it's a safety precaution because of some health concerns with the crumb rubber. Penn State's Ag Progress Days are now underway, and so is a new quarantine measure aimed at helping stop a spread of a small bug across Pennsylvania. Ag officials believe the spotted lanternfly could cause billions of dollars in damage to the farming industry if it spreads. Officials held a seminar to talk about it at Ag Progress Days Monday. They've also recently created a special permit related to travel in 13 counties where the spotted lanternfly has already been spotted and is prevalent. So far, there have been no sightings in Center County, and efforts are underway to keep it that way.
For travel, for particularly folks who are coming in and out of that quarantine zone, we want them to be aware of, what they should be looking for, checking their lawn chairs they're bringing along, checking the firewood if they're camping, whatever. Is that sort of level of awareness is really critical. Ag Progress Days continues through Thursday at Rock Spring Research Park.
Roads in Windber are now back open for now after a train derailment Monday. However, officials say the roads will be closed again at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning as crews work to remove the remaining parts of a train, again, derailed there. Norfolk Southern officials say 8 cars derailed around 7:30 Monday night. According to officials, a train transporting coal was traveling west when it derailed. We don't know why. They say none of the cars overturned, no coal was spilled, no one was injured, but the derailment stretched from 17th Street all the way down to 5th Street, blocking a lot of traffic. Neighbors say they could hear it when it happened.
This was a real banging, clattering sound, and I knew something was wrong. So I stood here, I was watching them as they were derailing. I was calling 911.
Officials are still trying to figure out exactly what caused the train to derail. Coming up on News Center, a shooting rampage at a Philadelphia area Walmart. What police say sparked the attack. And an alleged terror strike hits London. We'll show you video from when it was actually happening.